Hi, I'm HAINBACH. It's good to have you back. Welcome to the March Q&A, where patrons ask me questions and I answer them on video. If you want to get a question in, just subscribe to any tier on the Patreon and I'll sticky a thread every month where you can ask your questions. And off we go. Nathan would like to know, yes, please, more about the iPad journey. I've been on mine for a while now. I've had Quanta for a while, so you adding some presets was great. Oh, that's good to hear. Definitely go with Aum. Yeah, I did. I got Aum and Audiobus, and I'm kind of deciding which one I like most, but yeah, it's a no-brainer for workflow, especially running through Eventide stuff. I haven't got any Eventides plugin yet. I kind of have to, I think. I love Eventide, but I could never afford any of their pedals or the H3000, which is kind of my dream unit, I have to say. Also, iRack. It's basically a fork off of VCV Rack, but they're not connected. Game changer, in my opinion. I didn't know about that. Looking forward to your finds. I'll list some more below. Thanks again. Spacecraft, Borderlands, Aum, Myrack, Continua, Bitwits, Fook Machine, Apparello, Hexaglyphics, Bloom, Nave, Fluxley, iDensity. I knew about like 3 of those or 4. It's kind of like I've got so many things that I want to do right now, and the iPad is one of them. I've been preparing for that though, so I got that Roland Go mixer because, yeah, this was recommended to me by King Britt, who's an awesome guy, and he's a pro with these iPad music making, with which I'm still a novice. And he recommended that, so I got this thing. And I also bought the Sensor with a Buchla Thunder overlay. And yeah, this works really well with the iPad and Quanta. I really love that. And of course, as some of you might know and have seen maybe in the Lens stuff, I'm developing a test equipment based plugin myself, and that will also come out on the iPad. And I'm thinking about how to get multi-MIDI polyphonic expression integrated into that. And yeah, so it works with the Buchla Thunder. We're taking good steps forward, and I just got a new build for that thing, and yeah, I'm really excited for that because it sounds gorgeous. Ken Sheshtok. As a complete distraction from current world events, you had previously mentioned in an older video that you love dub. What is your favorite dub album, producer, track, song? I know it's probably impossible to narrow down, but as a fellow dub lover, I'd like to know because there's so many album songs that get lost between time and geography. I remember hearing the artist Colleen's dub mix a few years back. I think I only heard a few of the tracks in it before. I listen to a bunch of dub radio, so I often don't know what's even happening. But of course, my absolute classic favorite is Lee Scratch Perry's Big Ape? Super Ape. No, it's called Super Ape. I really love that album. That has been so influential to me when I heard that. And apparently, even the board that I got, like the Ramza VRS 442R, this is a dub classic and used in many dub studios. And yeah, that explains maybe why I immediately reacted to it. This is an instrument. Yeah, so Super Ape, that whole album is just fantastic. Dennis Verschoor, whom I worked with in Rotterdam, he showed me some other amazing dub mixes, and in our test equipment jams, we put in a little dub influence too. So yeah, that's it. That's kind of where I'm at now with the dub. I'm the Kobold. Hey there, Mr. Hainbach. I'm currently creating an album I hope to release this summer. There's just me recording very low, dark and rumbly drones that I'm making with my guitar and coming from my guitar amplifier. However, I'm having trouble with it, as I'm extremely new to recording in general. When I listen to what is being recorded through my Mackie mixer, everything sounds gorgeous. But when I listen to my Nagra 4.2, it sounds crunchy and distorted. Do you or does anyone else know why this is happening? Is this just a part of using reel-to-reel that I have to live with? It's odd because my Nagra 4.2 records the most beautiful acoustic sound I've heard in my life, and 2, I've seen you say multiple times that you like recording digital sounds through speakers because that captures the movement of the air. What microphones would you recommend using for what I'm trying to do? Any advice you can think of? And PS, have you thought of letting more people subscribe to the 15 IPS tier? Okay. 15 IPS tier, for those of you who don't know, that's one-on-one conversations with me. I love doing them, and I've met some great people through that. Yeah, I kind of like shut it down so I can concentrate on rather making more videos. But if this whole crisis doesn't stop, I might have more time, and I could open it up again. I don't know. The Nagra 4.2, it definitely shouldn't overdrive. With the Nagra, you basically get what you put in. Only for me, it sounds just a touch better and more real. So it's a bit more lovely. So watch your gain staging, I would say, and do A/B of different volumes. So that should work fine. You don't have to live with any noise on a Nagra. That's a little bit of tape hiss, but they are known for not distorting at all. That's why I called them not mojo machines in my video on distortions. They're machines for like this elegant, old school field recording, big film sound vibe. So in the microphones that I can recommend for using them, I love the MD21. I love all the old Sennheisers. All the old Sennheisers from the 50s and 60s. Glorious mics with the Nagra. The 441, 421, MD21. All these for different purposes. Amazing. And for an amp, maybe the 441 is the one to get. I love that because it sounds very documentary when you put it on an amp. Fano Poaya, what are your thoughts on the more extreme tape degradation techniques? Burning, submerging, burying and exhuming, etc. And the artists that use them. Giovanni Lamy off the top of my head. It would be extremely interesting to see what you could do with burying and exhuming. Though I imagine that is a process that would take too long for your theater work, and it's no guarantee that the results would be acceptable. Sure, as a long-time project, I can bury some tape loops and then see what happens after a month or two, and can try that. I like to hear the process, though. I think like then would require me to just bury it, and then after some time take it out again, burying it. But basically, with that process, you're probably also just crumpling up the tape. And that would be a faster way, because crumpled up tape also sounds nice. But like the mechanical methods that I've found so far, they are you can hear the process. And that's what I really like about them. You can hear everything degrades. And I'm still like basically, I only done 3 projects with that. So I'm still developing it. And especially about time ratios, how many meters will take how long, and with how many knives. That's something I'm interested in. So I tried Fire in the end of Destruction Loops, and I really loved the sound of it. It's a short moment where it's like the most intense vibrato tremolo you ever heard. It's just beautiful, but it's also a very short process. And these processes all bear the risk of completely gunking up your machine, which this process will do anyway, faster than if you just played tapes. So you have to be careful with them. I'm not a fan of corrosive agents simply because the rubber parts on the Nagra, a new one costs 80 euros. And that's just not money I have just lying around for just making a video or just making a track. And yeah, I don't like the waste basically also. So interesting project for something, but I don't wonder if it's sonically interesting, you know? And that's basically one up. It might be very interesting like as an art project, but is it interesting sonically? That's what I wonder. Michael Southard, what is your opinion on releasing music through a label versus self-releasing? Oh, that's a big topic. I like to release albums myself that are like things I want to do fast. Like I did the Census album. I released that myself on Bandcamp, and I used DistroKid to distribute it. And that was just an album because I recorded so much stuff with the field kit effects that I just do this, throw it out. It's a little thing. Maybe some people will like it. Then there are albums like the one we did collaboratively. and Old Sons. So that was clear from the get-go. I wanted to do that also myself, simply to keep the whole process like flowing and make it fast and not too long, because with a label you've got all these delays. You have to wait for people, you have to wait for a cover artist there. You lose a bit of control over the whole process, and usually what I found, it takes so much longer to release on a label, up to a year, and sometimes it doesn't even happen at all. I've had projects completely like basically I've got albums that are just sitting there because the labels like stopped releasing or said, no, we can't release. And I don't like the dependency. So now it just sounds bad working with labels. There are some that I really like and I really like to work with. For example, Zy Records, Boris is amazing. He takes this very seriously. He does a good job. Everything feels like you get a partner in there. He's very transparent with the finances. He also uses DistroKid Teams, which makes the split very transparent. And it's not like you have to like wait for some accounting info every year or so. So you just get the money directly. And yeah, with Boris, I really like and keep on working. So 2 albums now. And that's also like, it is a longer process, of course. But then the physical releases, I can't do physical releases myself. That's just so much work for me. And I basically have to become a shipping operation. And I can't do that. I can't be a shipping operation in here. It drives me nuts. So that's why all the merch, for example, which please check it out and buy if you like. I think it looks really good. Yeah, that's also like on demand. So I've got none of these t-shirts here. They're just printed on demand, basically in batches. So yeah, that's the only way I could even have merch. So, and I'm not envying like Boris when I put out a new tape or a new album and he has to go to the post office and with 200 vinyls and 100 cassettes. That's definitely not enviable position to be in. But it's a nice position, of course, when you've got a label because you want to sell that stuff. But yeah, the physical shipping. Every time I want to do a physical release, and I think some of my music really demands a physical release, like the Test Equipment record also, and even something like Gestures, where I thought, it doesn't really matter if it comes from vinyl. No, it matters so much. It just sounds better. It just adds, the medium adds, it takes away and it adds something. You know, it's like, it adds a pleasant sonic curve to the whole record and makes it a little bit more real. Anything I want to do quickly and fast, like the album that I'm working on now, I do it digitally and resell with DistroKid, and which I'm very satisfied with, and Bandcamp. I got the Pro account there, and that works fine. And anything where I want like a hardware release, like a physical release, I like to work with labels. I've been thinking about doing something like Bandcamp vinyl, or like getting in touch with them about that. And there's, I think Crates they're called, where I could also like do that with someone else. But again, then it would be another long process. Funapwire. Recently, you've been talking about putting your BK1613 through the aux of the mixer. Could you show us exactly how you do that? Yeah, I made a full video on that. See, this can also happen with these questions. If I find I can better show these in a video, I will make a full video. And that video actually, resonated with many people, which I found really nice because it's such a niche technique, but it's beautiful and it can be applied, of course, to digital too. And there, the plugin that I recommend is Sonic Lab Passport. And disclaimer, I'm working with Sonic Lab on that new plugin that I talked about. But Passport is amazing. So it's a really cool plugin. So especially for trying bandpass stuff. And again, Funapwire. Have you ever thought of making more tape techniques videos? Each of those videos has revolutionized my approach to creating music in their own right. I'd love more techniques if you have more to share. Tommy Champion says, agrees. I've really learned a lot from these two and will love more in-depth tape technique videos. I can do, but I really want to find something that's interesting. I was going to do a technique video on using tape in live theater. But yeah, all theaters are closed and the production is like frozen. So I kind of, once that production happens, I'm going to release a video on using tape in live theater and the challenges that I discovered there, because I did it in 2 plays now and it's fascinating. So that's going to be definitely a tape technique video where I touch about using tape, as a percussive element, using it live, and a bit like stuff that you see with the reel-to-reel orchestra. Really cool ensemble using only reel-to-reel recorders. Ken Sheshtok, a more technical question. Do you use a windscreen on your field recorder? Yes. I've got this field recorder, and there's a dead cat that you can buy for that, and that helps. Ken says he used a sock, and the sock doesn't work. You need like the proper dead cat or the proper windscreens for these, else your recordings are ruined. You need to buy some of those things. I guess I don't know of a cool DIY solution. I just bought the official windscreen, and it works great. Fanupoaya, you are, man, that's a lot of questions. Will we ever be getting more videos about your theater work? Luckily, I answered that one already. Just kidding. Ask as much as you like. Tommy Champion. Hey HAINBACH, I've got a question regarding cassette recording, specifically Marantz PMD 221, and reamping a track from a DAW. I want to take a mono piano track I recorded into Pro Tools, reamp it by sending it out of my interface at double speed and up an octave into the Marantz, and then playback that cassette recording back and record it at half speed, which should it back in time with the original into Pro Tools to mix in parallel with the original. What are some nice clean ways to do this? This is the dirtiest process ever. It's like you pitch it up digitally, I speed it up, and then go through the Marantz and then go back. This is the process itself is super dirty. So because I don't think you should think about this as a clean process at all. This is very much like messing up the signal. And what are some nice clean ways to do this? I imagine using a plugin to change the pitch and speed might cause some of that digital shattering you spoke about in your tape recording videos. Yeah, definitely. So I would in that case just speed it up by the most brutal method. So not like separating the different pitching and the double speed process, just double speed the whole thing so it goes up in pitch, like the oldest digital trick in the book, and not worry about anything else. Because what you don't want there are these nasty Ableton Live like glitches and like where your transients are all smeared. With the speeding up process, that won't happen so much. But yeah, you're doing something. This is messing up your signal. So just change the sample rate. I mean, I don't know what done in Pro Tools. In Ableton Live, I just click on warp and then I go double speed and then it's in the double pitch. So if I've got repitch mode activated. Depending on how your deck is calibrated, it might of course wobble in and out of time, but I guess that's something that you want. And on a more general level, how do you feel about reamping tracks from a DAW through cassette players with this tracking straight into them and bouncing out into a DAW? Is there serious loss in all of the analog to digital conversion? Can you mention some more hi-fi methods of using your Marantz cassette recorders in the production process? How you track bounce, limiting noise reduction, post-reduction? I never think of the Marantz as something hi-fi. This is decidedly a lo-fi effect, but it has a full range. So you get a lot of sound out of it. It has a nice bass to it. So you don't lose as much bass as if you were to use a dictaphone or something. With hi-fi bouncing, I'm talking about reel-to-reel players, like the good ones, like studio-grade stuff. And that's a process where I don't really like to reamp. I like to track through them. With the Marantz, you're just crushing up the signal. You're coloring it. And you're doing it in such an extreme way that it doesn't matter. You don't worry about like any artifacts. You want artifacts, and it's not going to sound more digital because the process you're applying is so destructive in itself. So don't worry about that. Noise reduction. Always print a bit of the noise from the Marantz, like record a bit of the noise, and then use that with your I use Isotope RX, and there's the sonic, spectrum noise reduction. And then you can just fingerprint that noise and then remove it. Because sometimes noise can, especially if you layer, the noise can get too much. And then you remove that noise a touch, maybe by 10 decibels, and the mix in itself becomes cleaner. So Isotope RX 7, this is the tool that works absolutely great. You need to get the studio version of the dialogue. There's a dialogue one in the cheaper bundle, but you need the full studio version. Captain Null, I bought a Lyra 8 recently, and I've thought that it somewhat resembles the Coco Quantus in its self-influencing feedbacking kind of setup, but also your test equipment, it's very clear and structured UI. Have you tried one? What are your thoughts on the instrument? Yes, I have played it like at Super Booth. I've played it in stores. I really like it. Why I didn't get it was because it does resemble so much that I already have in my studio. And I don't really need it, what it does. And I try to not burden myself with synthesizers and gear that I don't really need. I kind of feel at some point I need to make like a Lyra 8 video by borrowing it from someone, because this is a question I get asked a lot. Have you tried the Lyra 8? I've been asked about Lyra 8 so much, I think at some point I need to borrow it from someone and make a video on it, simply because the question has popped up so many times. Eric Deman. Hi HAINBACH, I'm working on this project where I want to have 3 or 4 different tape recorders move in a space to create the sensation of movement in music in a 3D space and have a central mics or mics recorded. What mic setup would you suggest to record it? Binaural? Like, go for a binaural or ambisonic setup. I only have these binaural headphones, and I've got a video where I show how to make a binaural head, and it's a fun process. And I think if you've got movement, to have like a walk through it with like not just wearing socks so it's quiet and trying to keep your breath low so you're not breathing for the people, that could be really amazing to go through a walk of that with these binaural headphones. You can DIY them completely yourself, and you can also get ambisonic mics. There are some, but they're more expensive. So that would be great. And for a stereo recording, I would just try to get some omnis. So omnidirectional mics, and put them up in nice spots and try to get a stereo field that way. And think about, do you want to be like inside those machines that are moving, or do you want to be like audience facing those machines? Just that's as important as as the composition itself if you're talking about movement. I wonder how you're going to move the tape recorders. It's going to be interesting. Please keep me updated on that project. I would love to see how it comes about. Bashar Amamputi. Hi HAINBACH, I love your work. Thank you. What's your experience using hydrophones, underwater mics, also recording water sounds or even boiling microphones for sound design? Cheers. I used the classic BBC method when I wanted to record underwater and just use an SM57 Shure mic and put a condom really closely with a rubber band up top, and that once you clean it back up again, it works really well for underwater recordings. But yeah, of course, that's not a real hydrophone. But you can have some fun with that. It's been a while since I've tried it. But I found in a toy store the Super Spy Phone, Hydrophone Geophone. And I can't wait to build this kit. I bought this last summer, so it's still another one of those projects. I really want to do that. And yeah, but that's gonna come. I've got other like kids, toys related projects, sciencey projects that I want to try, maybe also with my kids, and just see how they react to that. This could be fun. This is coming. Rien. The good old question that asked every time, how did you start doing all this? What is the advice for people wanting to creating these beautiful atmospheric sounds? Are there any resources you would direct people to who have just gotten a MIDI keyboard and who want to start being creative with it? I started with this like when I was 15, and I just started playing in a band in the small town in the Black Forest that I come from. We played like psychedelic rock, and I quickly wanted to do even more. I wanted to make more music because I got so addicted to making music. So I experimented with recording to cassette recorder, piano, and at the same time I would like play a radio, the far left side. They had these Euro signals called the Eurotone, which would be FM modulated messages. I would catch all these beautiful sounds there, and together with the with a piano, the sad melody on the piano, this would create an atmosphere. And then I had like a small entertainer keyboard that had a storage of like, you could save like 128 notes. So that would play like an organ to that, and all that at the same time onto these tape decks. And that's how I started. And I would love to say that radio could still be like a nice thing to use, but nowadays those Eurotones are dead. And there is not so much, unless you've got a really crazy antenna, that you can grab off the airwaves. That's not just charts music, I think. I've got an all-wave receiver up here, and I'm going to try stuff with that. It's an old school one, and I got a 50-meter antenna that I'm going to try to go from balcony to balcony. Thank you, neighbors. But yeah, so that would be just an idea how to start. Just don't think too much about MIDI keyboard. Just think about just trying stuff. And the one thing, I will do like a budget HAINBACH video as was suggested, and where I talk about how you can do a lot of things with like a minimal budget. Like it's not going to be no budget. Because I think some hardware tools are just, else it wouldn't be me. But basically when I started, I just did a lot with Cool Edit Pro and recording in any way possible through the, I don't know, Sound Blaster card with all the noise and the microphone in there, and then just messing up the signal in Cool Edit Pro, filtering and trying to go to places with that. And I think there's a lot of stuff that I developed there that I'm still using, especially the pitching down, because I realized quickly that pitching down stuff, even digitally, is one of the most powerful options, especially if you apply filtering after. And yeah, so resource-wise, I've got a few videos that are very like my dictaphone techniques video, all my tape techniques videos. Those would probably be fun, but I'm gonna do that budget HAINBACH video, or starting out and trying to do what I do with minimal budget, but with just ideas and fun. So that's gonna come too. I got so many videos to do. Jason Hoffman, you said something, I think it was during the Single Malts live stream, that fascinated and stuck with me. Something like that you don't sit down to compose already knowing what you want to create. I've heard other artists say similar things. Writers will sit at the typewriter every day, even if it's to copy someone else's writing, just to honor the act. Could you talk a little more about the process that evolves in that approach? Where do you start and how do you decide when an idea that's on the edge is worth pursuing? I think for this one, I want to tell you to watch like the series that I'm doing now. And that's making an album with a limited setup, and I talk in detail how I basically plan a song, how I plan an idea, how I plan that album. And there I basically lay open all the process, and I show how I like fail doing stuff, how I struggle. And I'm on 3 tracks now. Next video comes out tomorrow if I can edit it. And then I've got 3 ideas for other tracks, so that's already 6 I've planned, and then the rest will come when they come. And but I'm gonna lay down all of that in that series, and just wait a bit, and then you'll see more about that whole process. Rudiger Meyer, in your Destruction Loops video, you mentioned that at one point before your channel got really popular, people were even quoting poetry in the comments. Do you by any chance remember which video that was? But it wasn't one video, it was many videos. Here's the song called The Seconds I Missed. And people are describing them. There's Cookie Monster says, when the sun sets and you're looking at the lake surface, feeling the breeze and the water is rippling, and solar flares and sparkles everywhere. Good feelings, thank you. Here's one by Emmanuel to the track A Man Upon Whom the Sun is Set has come down. Snow flurries dancing to windy drift, icebreaker cruising past the glacial mountain, plane flying over snow-covered valley come to mind, forceful in a subtle manner. This is, I can't find all of them right now. It would take me forever, but it's in the older videos mostly where people do really poetic descriptions, and then at some point, if someone of you, like Bruno Wiebelt, you might know where that part was. That would be lovely if you could just comment and find the video. That would be amazing. Boyd Post wants to know, I noticed that you use head type 20 monitors in your studio. I would love to hear your impressions of them, both good and bad. The bad thing is, these are not head 30. The head 30, I compared them to the head 30, which are the bigger speakers, and they sounded just another level better. But that's the thing with these speakers. The more you pay, the better they get, because they get bigger and they sound less pushed, because these are pretty big speakers, but still, like, when you push them, yeah, they get like, but I can't do that. That doesn't even happen in the studio because I don't put them on so loud. So these are the perfect size for my room, and I couldn't get the head 30 to they wouldn't make sense in this room even. But so disclaimer, I'm endorsed by them, so I got these, and I will be on their endorsed artist list on the website. So I didn't buy these. As with much of this stuff that I'm getting now, I couldn't afford it. I even got their headphones, and the Cybertruck of Headphones, as someone called them, and they are amazing. I mean, it feels kind of ridiculous wearing them because they're so big, but I just like them. I think they sound so good, and they're comfortable. They are heavy, but I don't notice that because the weight is distributed so well, and they've got this nice cushion stuff. It's just good craftsmanship, I feel. With their head 20s, it didn't take me too long to get used to them, because these are basically, like, the company is run by son and father, and the father used to design the tweeter designs in the Adam speakers, and basically he was Adam, or one of the people of Adam. And when he made this new company, they took the same design philosophies. And in fact, we talked a bit about the P11s when I met them. It was really lovely that my old speakers that I now moved to the living room. And so I knew what I would get into. I knew the sound of the Adam speakers because I've been mixing on this kind of speakers, or the speakers designed by him, for 15 years or so. But I didn't have a too long period of getting used to them. For me, they've quickly become such a tool that's almost invisible to me. And so I hope that helps. I really enjoy them. That's all the questions, and that's it for this month's Q&A. I'll put up a new thread on the Patreon, and everybody who supports me there, you are amazing. You are the reason I can keep making these videos, and I can keep making more of these videos now. As you can see, I've upped my schedule, and I have so many ideas that I want to fulfill, and I can fulfill thanks to your support. You are amazing. Thanks again. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.